My bill, the Trading Isn't a Game Act, H.R. 4685, which I introduced with Mr. Foster and is co-sponsored by Ms. Axney and Ms. Underwood, would direct the Government Accountability Office to conduct a robust study of the practice of gamification by online investment platforms. The rise in gamifying trading is personally and troubling, and I think concerning to all of us on this committee, and warrants congressional action. We've seen story after story of investment platforms luring investors into participating in the stock market without first making sure that those investors' best interests are served by the complexity of the products that they're being sold. Let me be very clear. This is not about access to markets. It's about investor protection, and I think we do a disservice when we confuse that point. Let's take a look specifically at Robinhood, who, as we speak, is pricing their IPO to be listed on the NASDAQ tomorrow. They are one of the top culprits of gamifying trading. Their app contained a confetti feature, which congratulated you after remaking your first trade, lottery ticket type graphics, and other features that are designed to make their site more addictive, not to create investor value. Robinhood continues to function like a virtual casino gamified to harness human psychology, where, let's be clear, the market makers are the house, and the house wins. They are designed to drive frequent, short-duration, roulette-like trades ready to extract fast money from investors against their best interest. Now, they've since removed the confetti feature, but let's be honest, they aren't E.F. Hutton. And we delude ourselves if we think that this problem is now solved just because they made this rather small change in response to public pressure. There is no existing law that prevents this type of activity, which is why it's critical for us in Congress to examine this issue, because trading is not a game. It needs to be treated with the seriousness it deserves. Individuals with very little understanding of the complexities of the investments in which they are trading shouldn't be able to engage in this risky activity. Alex Kearns of Naperville, town in my district, which is also represented by Mr. Foster and Ms. Underwood, tragically took his own life after believing that the negative balance in his Robinhood account of more than $700,000, as reported, an individual who had $7,000 to his name, a negative balance that was because he was encouraged and enabled to engage in options trading. He's no longer with us. My bill begins to address this rising problem by examining these practices. Now, specifically, it directs the GAO to conduct a study on the numerous impacts of gamification, psychological nudges, and other design techniques that are certainly used by companies like Facebook to drive user engagement, but are also now being used by brokers, investment advisors, or robo-advisors through their online platforms to affect the behavior of investors. The GAO can compare the activities of firms that don't have or have limited use of gamified features, test investors, and collaborate with other agencies, including the SEC Office of the Investor Advocate. This is an important issue for Congress and the regulators to engage in. And I think this bill allows us to take a good first step, informed by GAO study. They've got 270 days, which I think is a rich amount of time to do this analysis. I know that many of us on this committee do care deeply about advocating for investor protections and the interests of retail investors and ensuring that they are protected from harmful practices wherever they arise. I urge support for the Trading Isn't a Game Act.